So there you have it, a night to remember. Evander Holyfield with an inspiring performance, living up to his word as he guaranteed the victory over Mike Tyson. Holyfield defied the odds and the critics as he stunned the boxing world. And with that, let me reintroduce our special guests. First, here in the studio, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield, taking time out from a very busy post-fight schedule that had to be highlighted by a parade through his hometown of Atlanta. And it must be noted that Mike Tyson sincerely attempted to join us here in person. However, circumstances required him to be at home in Ohio at this time. And so by way of satellite from his home in Southington, Ohio, graciously joining us, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson. Now, in addition, we'd like to welcome a special panel of boxing writers. Ron Borges of the Boston Globe, Ed Schuyler of the Associated Press, and Vic Ziegel of the New York Daily News. All right, let's begin by taking a look back at round number 2, a round that all 3 official ringside judges scored in favor of Evander Holyfield by a count of 10-9. This is a productive and effective round for Holyfield as he counterpunched well and landed some nice shots on Tyson. And really, for the first time in a while, we're seeing a Tyson opponent actually fight back and provide some very hard answers. Evander, first of all, unlike so many previous opponents, why were you not intimidated by Mike Tyson? And tell us also about your strategy at the start of the fight.
Well, you know, as far as intimidation, to be the very best that you can be, you can never be intimidated. And, you know, you learn that through amateur and as a professional, it should already be instilled that if you're going to win, you have to make things happen.
And your strategy at the beginning?
Well, you know, the strategy was not to go backwards at all. I kind of felt that in all the fights that Tyson always had, people that went backwards were always in trouble.
And Mike Tyson, you seemed concerned or puzzled at this early stage. Were you?
Not at all, but I didn't remember too much of the fight. We had, me and Evander, I don't know which round it was, perhaps the 3rd round, we had collided heads. We were both leaning, we collided heads. And from that point on, I really didn't know basically anything that happened.
All right, right now, we're going to get into that a little bit later, but let's fast forward and take you to round number 5, in which Mike Tyson was able to bounce back with a solid 3 minutes. In fact, winning on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards with an even round on the other. We go to a highlight from round number 5. For the first time, Holyfield stopped short. Holyfield tagged several times coming in, and a low blow by Tyson made matters worse. At the end of round 5, Holyfield seemed tired as he went to the corner, which raised some eyebrows concerning his stamina, which had been a question mark going into the fight. Obviously, as the fight unfolded, it was not a factor. Mike, were you gaining confidence coming off of round 5 from what you can remember?
I don't remember that round at all.
All right, and Evander, let me switch to you. With that in mind, were you concerned at this point?
No, I wasn't concerned. Mike was able to catch me with some good shots, you know, a good body shot then with the uppercut. But, you know, his hands was fast and he was just getting off good shots. You know, about anything, you had to weather the storm. And he was just, at that point in time, he had the momentum going his way.
Mike, let me ask you a question. You say you can't remember anything pretty much from round 3 on after the clashing of heads. Did you get an opportunity to watch a tape of the fight?
This is my first time viewing the fight.
Okay, so now, as we get back to things, so after 5 rounds, it is close. It's anybody's fight, but the mere fact that a Mike Tyson fight had lasted 5 rounds was somewhat of a story in itself. Tyson versus Holyfield was already almost as long as Mike's 4 previous bouts combined. Let's take a look at the scorecards through the first 5 rounds. You see the first 3 there show you how close it was. Roth had a 29-28 Holyfield. 29-28 Holyfield by Shirley, and Volmer had it 30-29 for Evander Holyfield. And as we take a look at rounds 4 and 5, 48-47 through 5 rounds for Roth, 48-47 for Tyson. By way of Shirley, and Volmer had it 50-49 for Holyfield. Keep in mind, WBA rules, they go to the scorecards on an accidental foul after the end of 4 rounds, which leads us to round number 6, of course, a most pivotal round in this fight. Round 6 was significant, first of all, because of the headbutt that produced a cut over the left eye of Tyson. It was also a round that featured the knockdown. Tyson off his feet for only the second time in 47 fights, the result of a short left hook. And for the first time in the fight, the sellout crowd of better than 16,000 started chanting in unison, "Holyfield, Holyfield." Now, Evander, the intensity level was extremely high. The crowd was delirious. You're concentrating so hard at this point. Did the crowd have an effect on you?
Well, I mean, it's good, you know, that chanting your name, but one thing you have to do is stay focused and not get to the point you get reckless.
Mike, how about you? Did the crowd have any effect?
I don't remember anything.
Well, how disoriented were you here in round 6 due to the clashing of heads, not only from this round, but round 3 as well? How disoriented were you?
I'm trying to remember. I remember what I remember in the fight. There's two things that I remember. I remember after the end of the first round, I believe, my trainer asked me, he said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm in good shape. I can fight like this all night." And I remember, I don't know if I even remember being knocked down. I think it was just an incredible feeling. And the only thing I remember, I don't remember going to the locker room, changing my clothes. I remember being in not the dressing room, in the press conference. And at the press conference, that's the only thing I remember.
So were you fighting on instinct?
Listen, I've never been in that predicament before. I don't know what people call it, instinct or anything, but when the fight was stopped, the first thing I said was, what happened? I didn't know what happened. And when we were at the press conference, ironically, I was about to go and say something, but John Horn had said, "No, Mike, listen to me. Don't say that. Say this, say this." I had thought I knocked Holyfield out. I didn't know that I had lost.
Did you say you thought you knocked Holyfield out?
Yes.
That's unbelievable. You were that confused at this particular point?
I didn't know what happened. I didn't even believe, just by looking at this fight, I didn't even believe that I was fighting this well. I couldn't imagine that. I didn't know what was happening.
What about those chants of Holyfield, Holyfield? They weren't ringing in your ears?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Mike, what is it like seeing this now?
I've discovered some very interesting things about Mr. Holyfield.
Like?
And I just look forward to I believe we have a rematch in March, and I look forward to the rematch in March.
As you look back, were you satisfied with the advice you were getting from your corner?
I don't remember anything. I don't remember them saying anything. And if they told me anything, trust me, it was appropriate advice. It's just that I wasn't coherent enough to take the advice in.
All right, Mike, let's examine the headbutt even closer by taking yet another look at it, since this had a major bearing on the fight and preceded the knockdown. Give us your perspective on the butt as we take a look at the slow-motion replay. Take us through this, if you can. What exactly happened in your view?
I don't remember. I just remember the clashing of heads. We clashed heads, and I didn't feel too well after that. And
were you at all? Were you alarmed by the sight of your own blood, something that you had never really seen or seen much of in the ring?
No, I never. It never bothered me.
Did you think you were ahead after 5 rounds, therefore hoping they'd stop the fight and go to the scorecards?
I don't remember that. I don't remember about being ahead. I don't remember anything.
All right, once again, let's take a look at the slow-motion replay of the clashing of the heads in round 6. Let's get the perspective right now of Evander Holyfield. Here it is again. Evander, was the injury to Tyson a product of the infighting or completely accidental in your perspective?
Well, I think it was accidental. I think what was happening is that Tyson kept trying to come forward, and I had to press the fight forward because neither one of us would give up the leverage. You know, even when the referee said back up, he wasn't going to back up, and I wasn't going to back up because I realized that for me to get back, I was just only getting in the range for him to hit me. So the whole thing, the referee had to do his job because I wasn't going to back up any.